If I told you your life might be a room full of shadows, would you be brave enough to turn around? What if everything you've ever believed, your memories, your world, even your sense of self, was nothing more than shadows on a wall, not metaphorically, but literally? Long before the Matrix, before talk of digital worlds or simulation theory, there was a man named Plato, and he told a story that still haunts the human imagination. The Allegory of the Cave, a myth that, in truth, was never just a myth, because hidden beneath its surface lies an ancient secret, one that connects philosophy, mysticism, and modern physics in ways that are only now beginning to make sense. Here's the hook. Long before the Matrix, Plato described a simulation so complete that people mistake flickers on a wall for the whole of reality. Hello, followers. Welcome back to another episode of the Shadows of History series. If you're into gripping documentaries, deep dives into historical events, hidden truths, and untold stories, you're definitely in the right place. Before we jump in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and drop a comment below. I love hearing your thoughts. Big shout out to all our new subscribers. Welcome to the family. And to my returning viewers, you already know, you're the real hero. All right, let's dive into today's story. You're not going to want to miss this one. But the esoteric secret isn't just that we're fooled. It's what happens when someone leaves the cave, and what they owe the people still inside. Imagine this. You've been chained in a dark cave since birth. You cannot move your head. You can't turn around. Behind you burns a fire, and between that fire and your body, others walk, carrying objects, casting shadows on the stone wall before you. That wall is your world. Those shadows are your reality. To you, they are everything. You give them names. You study their patterns. You build entire systems of meaning around their movements, never realizing that they are only reflections. Then one day, one prisoner breaks free. He turns around, for the first time, and sees the fire. The truth scorches his eyes. It's painful, overwhelming. And when he stumbles out of the cave into the sunlight, the real world, he's blinded. But slowly, he begins to see the mountains, the sky, the sun itself. He realizes that everything he once believed was real was an illusion. Quick recap. Imagine you're chained in a cave, facing a wall. Behind you, a fire, a walkway, puppeteers carrying objects. When he returns to tell the others what he's found, they laugh at him. They mock him. They call him mad. Because comfort, even in darkness, feels safer than the unknown light. And that, Plato said, is the story of the human soul. All you see are shadows. When he returns to tell the others what he's found, they laugh at him. They mock him. They call him mad. Because comfort, even in darkness, feels safer than the unknown light. And that, Plato said, is the story of the human soul. You name them. You argue about them. You build status around being good at shadow guessing. To most people, the cave is just a metaphor about ignorance and enlightenment. But for Plato, and the mystery traditions he was part of, it was something much deeper. It was a map of reality itself. You see, Plato believed the universe was divided into 3 realms. In this model, we, the prisoners, live in the lowest world. What we see with our senses are merely copies, distortions, echoes of higher truth. The fire in the cave? That's the false light of perception, the artificial glow of the limited mind. The shadows? The illusions of the material world. And the sun outside? That's the form of the good, Plato's term for the ultimate source, the light of divine intelligence itself. For Plato, enlightenment wasn't about gaining new information. It was about remembering. remembering the truth our souls already knew before being born into the cave of the physical world. In ancient Greek, the word for truth, aletheia, literally means unforgetting. The allegory of the cave was a guide for remembering who we truly are. Here's what's rarely discussed in textbooks. Plato wasn't just a philosopher, he was an initiate. He had been trained in the Orphic and Pythagorean mystery schools, where students were taught that the physical body was a kind of prison, a tomb for the soul. The Orphics called life itself a dream, a temporary exile from the divine. To awaken, one had to undergo initiation, symbolic death and rebirth, to remember the higher worlds. Plato encoded these same teachings into the cave. The prisoner's ascent is the initiate's journey, from darkness into light, from ignorance into gnosis, divine knowing. Centuries later, the Gnostics would take this even further. They claimed the material world was not just a shadow, but a trap. They spoke of a false creator, the demiurge, who fashioned the physical realm as a kind of cosmic simulation, a copy of higher reality. To them, the cave was that false world. The fire was the counterfeit light, the deception of appearances. And the sun beyond, the pleroma, the fullness of divine truth that exists outside creation itself. In the Gnostic view, we are fragments of that higher light, divine sparks, trapped in matter, yearning to return home. Outside the cave, the sun is blinding, yet it reveals the real sources of the shadows. Now, fast forward 2,000 years. Modern philosophers and physicists, Nick Bostrom, Elon Musk, and others, are asking, could reality be a simulation? At first, it sounds like science fiction, but listen closely. It's the same framework Plato described. Even quantum physics now whispers the same mystery. Matter is not solid. Reality is probabilistic. The universe behaves as if it's being rendered when observed. Plato might have smiled at this. He would have said, yes, the world is a shadow play, projected from a higher dimension of mind, not a computer code, but a divine code. When that person returns to help, the others laugh, then rage. If they could, they'd kill the messenger. But there's another cave, the one inside you. Your mind, your conditioning, your fears and beliefs. The chains are the stories you cling to. The shadows are your projections, the illusions you mistake for reality. And the light? The awareness that observes it all. Every time you question your own perception, every time you face your darkness, you're turning toward the light. This is what Carl Jung called individuation, the process of becoming whole. It's the same journey as the freed prisoner, but internal. Today we live in a new cave, one we built ourselves. Our walls are screens, our shadows are pixels. The fire is the algorithm. We stare into glowing rectangles for hours, mistaking data for truth, illusion for experience. We curate our own shadows, filtered, polished, safe, and call it life. And if someone dares to step outside the system, to question the consensus reality, we mock them. We call them crazy, just as the prisoners did to the one who saw the sun. The more things change, the more the cave stays the same. Now the layers most people miss. But Plato's message isn't doom. It's hope. He wasn't telling us to escape reality, but to see through it. To understand that every shadow, every illusion, every simulation is an invitation to awaken. The truth beyond the simulation isn't somewhere out there. It's inside. It's the awareness that witnesses the cave, the light, and the shadows all at once, because ultimately, you are not the prisoner. You are not the chains. You are not even the fire or the light. You are the seer, the consciousness beyond both illusion and truth. The dreamer awakening from the dream. First, the cave is not just about ignorance. It's about addiction. Plato's cave isn't an ancient myth. It's a mirror, one that asks every generation the same question. Will you stay in the comfort of shadows, or will you walk into the light, even if it blinds you at first? Because the moment you do, you realize the greatest secret of all. The truth was never hidden from you. You were just facing the wrong way. The shadows are content, stories, trends, takes, the chains, comfort, fear, the applause we get for fitting in. The most dangerous prisons are the ones we decorate. Second, turning around hurts. Plato says education isn't pouring knowledge into a cup. It's reorienting the soul. Imagine a muscle uncramping after years. Truth isn't just information, it's calibration. Third, the fire is a counterfeit sun. In the esoteric reading, the fire symbolizes human-made authorities, media, institutions, language, bright enough to mesmerize, not bright enough to enlighten. The real sun stands for the good, the source that makes anything knowable at all. You don't see it directly, you see by it. Fourth, the puppeteers aren't mustache-twirling villains. Sometimes they're sincere teachers, artists, politicians, anyone projecting curated reality. The occult twist is this: power isn't only about controlling what you think, it's about controlling what you think about. Fifth, returning is the point. The enlightened one doesn't stay in bliss. They go back into the noise, risk ridicule, and try to translate sunlight into shadows people can recognize. That's philosophy as service, not escape. Now, the controversy. If there's a simulation, who built it? Plato would say, you did, along with your culture. The algorithm is a mirror with an agenda. It feeds you what keeps you chained: certainty, outrage, belonging. But here's the esoteric key. No program can trap a will that decides to turn. So how do I turn? 3 moves. Interrupt the loop. 1 hour a day without inputs. No feed, no hot takes. Let the after images fade. Climb by degrees. Read something older than your era. Speak to someone outside your bubble. Sit with ideas that make you uncomfortable. If it doesn't sting a little, it's not sunlight. Return with humility. Share what you find without superiority. A guide, not a guru. Remember, the cave is portable. It exists in classrooms, timelines, self-talk. The sun is portable too. Any act of honest seeing. If this stirred something, that's your chain loosening. Keep turning. Keep testing. And when you glimpse the light, don't hoard it. The cave is the world. The light is consciousness. And the journey is remembering who you truly are. Thanks for watching this video on Shadows of History series. My goal is to bring forgotten stories and hidden moments from the past back to life, to explore the parts of history that often stay in the shadows. Each episode takes a lot of research, writing, and editing to make sure every detail is right and every story is told with care. If you'd like to help me keep creating these documentaries and grow this channel, you can support Shadows of History series on Buy Me a Coffee. Your support helps me make more videos, dive deeper into research, and build stronger connections with viewers who love history as much as I do. Every bit of support, even one coffee, truly helps bring more stories from the shadows into the light. Thank you for watching, for sharing, and for being part of this journey.